What is up, everybody? I'm No Lux Given, back with some more Fairytale Fables, and there was a pretty big announcement for Fairytale Fables the other day, which changed a few things. I'm not going to go over everything because there were a bunch of balance changes, following the big monthly tournament. However, there are a few things that I want to make sure that I cover. I think this is the most important part of the update, not the hand size increase to 6. That's fine. It's sometimes interesting. It's kind of neat with having to walk your dogs and them caring about placement. But the removal of the free roll. This is currently being tested to make decisions in shop matter more and increase player agency by reducing high roll potential of everyone in the lobby. So this is going to be a big nerf to basically all types of comps, all types of heroes. Okay, I won't say that necessarily. It's actually going to be a buff to some things, but it will just make the game more random and more varied as well, which I think is also a really cool thing. And it also rewards adaptability in interesting ways because you'll be forced more often to play with a wider variety of different options that are presented to you. We can see the patch goals: move cards closer to desired power levels, smooth out power levels, gradual power levels of cards with less powerful tempo cards and shorter durations, main cards broader and more playable more often. And even just the removal of the free roll is going to do that with no other changes. There are some other changes though. Most of them will just see them as they appear. I have not gotten through all of these myself because it's just so much to look at right off the bat when you load up the game. I did see also that there is some new stuff. So there's lingering, which basically means that effects with auras or boosts can sometimes persist after death. I believe there is a character specifically that kind of already utilized this mechanic, but now it's got a keyword and potentially some other things might have it. And then also we have target low, which makes things try to attack a character with less HP. So if you can kill something, assumedly that's not going to also grant like flying at the same time. It just means that if one of the or some of the available targets are killable with an attack, then that's where the attack will go. So I think that is the idea. That's possibly kind of like a nerf to some ranged characters, which often only scale up in attack. So that's kind of interesting. And we've got Toy Dino with high attack. I don't even know if I've played Toy Dino before, to be honest, just because it's kind of boring. Then your evil characters have +1/+2, double the bonus if you're level 4 or above. You know what? That sounds more exciting. Though, I will say Toy Dino is potentially better with the tempo, the move to a more tempo-based approach with the lack of a free roll. Alright, let's take Toy Dino and see what we can get up to with that. Just see if that can help us bridge the gap and be a little bit stronger. We also won't have the ability to roll into evil characters as easily if we were to have gone for the Bruni as opposed to the Dino. I was going to say the Dino, we might not be able to find elementary insight, but we are able to actually find that here. Now, I did see that Cat Angel was changed. This is one of the interesting changes. And it says, when you sell me, you gain that mana back. That's really interesting. I do think I'm going to lock here just for elementary insight. I guess I might as well pick up the Cat Angel. I don't actually think it's that good, to be fair, because you need to have at least 1 mana when you sell it. But I am somewhat intrigued by the idea that I could use a heavy spell and then sell the cat. You won't be able to in this current iteration, but like in a different universe without that clause, use a heavy spell or a draining spell is what I meant to say, and then use the cat and then still use other things. So here I was definitely going to pick up the Elementary Insight. Was thinking about Young Parrot just because it's probably my favorite card here. And you know what? Our hero power is actually kind of good with Young Parrot because we can kind of risk it for the biscuit a little bit, and if we wind up losing this fight, then we will still have a bunch of power to dole out against my opponent. Like in that case, my opponent could have had 3 more owls and we still would have been able to battle through it. Could take a tracking dog here, definitely throwing Elaine in my hand, and definitely grabbing these sweet oranges. From here, I could see just going for a shield page. You know what? Yeah, that seems fine to me. That gives me a pretty large parrot. And, oh, we got cats here. Oh, we are going to make a big Elaine out of this one. This is going to be tasty. Okay, I'm glad that I picked up the shield page with that being the case, because now we will definitely set ourselves up for multiple parrot attacks, multiple Elaine buffs. And this is going to be a 6-3 going into the next turn. I like it. This is a good start to the game here. The cat's getting pumped up is a little bit unfortunate, but we take out their backline, and with that we get the win, and we get the second slay on the parrot. So we're doing pretty good. And now we could pick up a Demon's Deal. And that's good because we see only 3 cost things here. So this has got Preserve 25%, could take the Dash Hound and the Impatient Farmer. I do kind of like the crew member plus keeping Elaine in our hand. So I think that's the route I'm going to go here actually. And then I might just pick up Guardian Angel. I think that it's got good enough stats. So Guardian Angel, crew member, and let's backline the crew member. That way Elaine doesn't summon before the parrot has a chance to slay. I think this is all pretty decent ordering here. Makes a lot of sense to me. Parrot is going to get that slay yet again, and then Elaine's going to come in and fire away, and we're killing it here. 30 health moving into 3.1. So this is kind of cute with the field page. They did nerf Determined Plowman a wee bit, but I think it's still a respectable pickup here on 3.1. And then I might go for a roll. The only other option being like, I guess what I could do here... Oh no, because I always want to play a character down here actually because of crew member. So... only other thing I could see is like weak monster charm. Sure. Okay, I'm just going to use up my cash and ready up like so. Not the most impressive turn, but I think that I'm already pretty impressive despite that. So this is fine. And then next turn we will have a little bit of a 3.2 play. And you can kind of see what I was talking about, like making potentially more interesting decisions because I'm not able to just make really easy decisions of rolling and finding more specific things that I'm looking for. I forgot that this weapon was also going to give, or item was also going to give 2 attack. That made it much, much better for me. And then I see Romeo before the level up. I see another weak monster charm. See a dwarfy. None of these things are super impressive, but they're all fine. Also really don't care about a cat angel. What am I looking for? Probably another guardian angel. Another crew member is also really good. Okay, I find both of those things. That is funny. We also find another Elaine. So I could sell out of like shield page, pop in this, and then sell both of these things, grab a second Elaine. think that makes a lot of sense. Oh, I also missed another Plowman. Oh, that could have been really good. I'm not sure how important that is going into 4.0. Because, yeah, it kind of is going to start falling off at this stage of the game. Though having multiples, like being able to potentially triple it, could have led me in a good direction. I do think I'm definitely into a detective apprentice. And Mycroft Holmes is not a bad combo with that either. Potentially tossing the Plowman in this scenario. Potentially not using a Guardian Angel here as well. Because this basically exhausts my mana. I mean, I could roll, or I could just use this and give my ranged character a little bit of starting attack. Could also go here. I think that either of those options are fine. We might actually cut the parrot, come to think of it. Okay. Sure, I probably should have moved to put in the second Guardian Angel in my available space. Bunch of fireballs to kick off this combat against Mevo with a really fancy border. But we get a losing tie because of our hero power, so not too shabby. And then, yeah, we did also get the bonus out of Detective Apprentice, so that wasn't bad either. Could try to make use of Chameleon, though I think we are more or less on our way out with these crew members, unless we can find ourselves a triple. So, triple definitely frees up some room and gives me a tier 3 treasure. Spells cost less, Slay Moon or Broker's Brooch. I think we want our spells to cost 1 less. Gives us a free health, not too bad. And then, yeah, we'll probably move to make these things what goes in. And finish off with a Sandstorm. Nothing else super crazy to report on here. But double Detective Apprentice I do think is pretty good, especially with a hero with as many attacks as Toy Dino. Definitely some synergy there, despite not being anything super crazy. And this is the correct order. Elaine will come up in the front line, and then Guardian Angel will come up back line, assuming crew member is my first character to die, which is like a reasonable assumption. It's more likely than anything else to die first, though certainly not guaranteed. Oh, okay, gonna be Elaine instead, so we get our cards in a little bit of a weird order, but actually still Elaine attacking first there because of that. So all kind of works out, and then Mycroft gets to slay at the end of the combat. We get a winning tie there on the other side of a tie. Future Vision could have been interesting had we picked up the Polywoggle, but we did not, so it is not. I don't hate the Angel Warrior. I feel like we just roll for actual XP or a triple at this point. Oh, and I find both. I find both an actual XP and a triple. All right, let's pick this up. Maybe we start hatballing. I doubt it, though. I don't think that that is a super great use. Let's just get +2/+2 on everything in the shop. And then we are going to drain the main vein right here. And that does make us level 5. We could take a little ring. I don't think that's super impressive. Kiv, when we have a pair of Elaines, it's not terrible. Grimm's Twist. Could also just buy a shield page here, but I'm also not super impressed with that. I do think Kiv is, like, fine. But I think I'd rather just roll. And I think I will... No, let's roll one more time. Okay. I like the Narcissus here, and then we could also grab the Crystal Sage and New Hewitt to grab a level 6 character. I think that's pretty good for Natural 5.0. So we'll see what we are able to come up with that. Here we go. There we have that dying first on this combat. And a bunch of ranged attacks should put us in pretty reasonable position. Though, yeah, it's just going to be another losing tie here with my little toy dino. That's fine too. Alright, let's start up. This is a little bit wacky, but let's see what silliness this gives me. Nothing super crazy, but could still be fun. And then I'm going to sell off this parrot and just pick up a Narcissus. I think that Narcissus, like the old Storybook Brawl, this is one of the best things that you can do on 5 if you're not just like actively looking for tempo, if you're looking to press the tempo advantage that you already have, then this is one of the better directions that you can go into. And summon a 10-8 catnip in a bottle. I'm trying to figure out if that is better than just playing a 12-13. Honestly, I think it's all about the same. But I'll go for the supply cabinet. I think that's fine. For some reason, it is not just bringing me into the fight against the bot. It's making me wait it out here, which is a little bit weird. Let's check out the rest of this lobby. Just looking at the names, to be honest, to see if I recognize any of those players, which I think would really just be Duke Silver. That's really the only name I look for when I'm scanning the lobbies at this point. I know there's some other players. Could check the top of the leaderboard to see which other Storybook Brawl players are also playing Fairytale Fables, but I don't know exactly which other players made the jump. I'm not like super active on the Discord or anything to know which players transitioned over to this game and which ones have not. But yeah, also up against the bot, playing the supply cabinet rather than playing the thing that doesn't scale, the Narcissus, feels like it makes more sense to just run the cabinet out there, maybe get some relevance out of that, and I'm gonna get a winning tie, but that is totally fine. And here, now we get Dr. Watson, which is like a little bit slow, but definitely one of the better pickups that we could find at this stage in the game. Sir Galahad, a really good card, but I actually just don't think I need tempo at all right now. So I'd rather roll and spend my gold on Narcissus here, I believe. So Catnip in a Bottle, that's what this summons, right? Yeah. And Catnip in a Bottle summons a funny cat and give them stats equal to the cats. I don't know, I mean, I'm kind of inclined to just play attack-based comps, so I think I'm going to stick to that for now. Here is a grown-up Gretel. She's pretty good. There is also a brave little trader, but I'm interested in getting grown-up Gretel online here. Might throw in the supply cabinet just in case I decide to go back that route, but honestly, this seems like a fine place to be at the end of level 5. Sounds good to me. So right now I'm getting +4 attack each turn. Not crazy, but not nothing either. Probably want to move away from this crew member at some point. I mean, it doesn't really give you anything over just like fielding 7 characters naturally unless you have an additional crew member. Because the 4-2 at this stage of the game is really negligible stats. Is kind of the trade-off there. Up against some stars. And there they are repopulating again. So I do think these stars are going to wipe my board, but then I'm going to wipe their board back. with my attack, and we get a losing tie. So now we're level 6. That's not good enough. That doesn't do anything for me. The thing is, okay, so here is an Ascendance. I was gonna say, if we can get, like, another supply cabinet, then we could consider going back this route. I don't think that that's absolutely crazy. And an Ascendance is kind of that, but I think I'd also like to play for the treasure. This is also fine, and it's a payoff for crew member, but I don't think it is necessary. King Arthur, also not super important here. Kind of trying to run it down with the tempo that we already have access to. Fire Rune's cute, but again, doesn't impress me too much. Grown-Up Hansel is a considerable amount of stats. Oh, Grown-Up Gretel was nerfed to be a little bit worse, but now also comes with it a sleigh. Ah, so maybe I rolled too quickly past some previous sleigh options that were given to me. I see. All right, here's Dr. Frankenbaum. That's kind of cute. This allows me to triple up on Narcissus and grab a tier 7 treasure, so that seems pretty good. I'm not sure if my placement otherwise was ideal, and I think I do want 5 or 4 characters on the starting line, so Gretel has the highest chances to slay, and some other things were definitely not like super optimal there, but overall pretty reasonable board configuration, and my attack will give us a losing tie regardless. So not too shabby, but we will move some things around a little bit here. Honestly, probably this is just better. Let's find that Narcissus though. There it is. So tier 7 treasure, that might lead me to pick up this good boy. Your hero has plus 50 attack. After one fight, upgrade your characters and destroy this. Or at the start of each fight, give your characters plus 4, plus 3 permanently. Increase your buff by 1/1. You know what? I think there's enough turns that Infinity is going to be good, and Good Boy is going to get us there as well. At the start of each fight. So crew member is now much less useful. This is free, but I don't need to gain more attack. It's free. Would like to put a little bit more stats on, or just find another good boy, I think. So I think I roll. All right, Proud Corgi, I think is good. Royal Phoenix is also pretty good. So which one can we afford this turn? Really either. And then what are we cutting? Are we cutting Mycroft? I might just be cutting Elaine. And selling off each of these. Seems good to me. I think I'm locking for Phoenix here. Actually, no. I'm rolling for more good boys. But this is a pretty solid board right now. Could have maybe moved some things around, but I think that this is actually pretty good ordering, and Infinity is just a really, really good treasure. The Corgi will have to get walked, so that could be a little bit awkward, but I'm also at no risk of losing these fights, really. Oh wait, no, I'm going to lose this fight. Okay, fair enough. I'm going to take 11 damage down to 21, but we've got the health to make this work, I believe. So we'll move some things around here. Honestly, maybe we cut this, throw this here, play this. That's a good scaling character, and another good boy. There we go. That's looking good for me. I'll backline the Corgi so that it can gain even more stats, and then one more roll. We do see another Radiant Fairy. That is probably worth cutting down. Detective Apprentice. I like the grown-up Gretel. But honestly, I mean, we're never playing... we could play this again. I think I'm never playing this again, though. So let's cut this and get the fried egg in there and ready up. And we're good boying. The good boys that we've picked up in the shop have also had +2/+2. I think that this game is a great example of like the importance of tempo on the new patch. 3 players in the lobby were dead before we hit level 6, but then it's also just like great classic storybook brawl, converting that tempo into a high roll by pursuing some really powerful treasures, and I think that we pulled that off pretty fantastically. Didn't get too distracted by any of the weird sub-themes, but also took some opportunities to potentially high roll with that new you that didn't really pan out, but was fine. I've never played Supply Cabinet. Maybe this is better than I'm letting on. At some point, I will try playing Cats. I know that there's some commenters that are a fan of Cats. But I have not done them yet myself. I'm actually not paying attention to the screen right now. I'm sending a text. So hopefully this is all going all right. All right, now I'm looking and we get a losing tie, but that's fine. Didn't really see what went wrong, if anything did, but I feel fine. And Corgi will just rotate between these 3 backline slots. Might move Radiant Fairy up to the front, though. All right. Yeah, especially if we can triple this good boy. Entrances trigger at the start of the fight, make an extra good boy. That seems pretty good. And I do like the spells costing 1 less gold, so I think I'll toss the storybook at this stage of the game. And I'll make an additional copy of Good Boy. Cool. Just for the fight, that's not going to be super useful. What's Herding Dog do? Give your characters... No, not super impressive. We'll gain another health here. Could actually backline Gretel because she does have Unyielding. So that's like fine, actually. Don't have any angels. We could use a Core Fusion on Good Boy. Sure, why not? Now Good Boy definitely can slay. I think that the curved sword is not terrible here. Oh, I'm glad I rolled, though. I'd rather have the fairy dust. And... that text is too confusing, and I don't think it's worth 6 gold, but I don't think it's good either. First attack is fine with Good Boy, but we have the potential to just have an insanely big Corgi here. All right, another Good Boy player, though this with Tyrannical Nero. I think we're going to be all right. Yeah, finally, we get some stats on the Corgi, and the Corgi's able to get it done there. We don't quite kill Aladdin. They've got a doubled up Fairytale, though. That's kind of crazy. 2 Good Boy players in the lobby means that someone could be looking to scam us. Okay, so that's like one of the cat payoffs. This is possibly reasonable. I don't think any of these things are super necessary. Just do this, actually. Galahad's good if I triple the Radiant Fairy. I'd rather pick that up, though. Instead, seems good. I will take a damage. And looking for a triple or another Good Boy. What can we find here? What can we find? Yeah, I think that's fine. So I guess at this point, just looking for a spell to finish things off. This would be cool on Tyrannical Nero. But unfortunately, we have not found that one yet. And could see selling off something to get, but I think if we triple up the Radiant Fairy, I want the ability to maybe throw Elaine in there at the last second. So we're just going to roll it down. Don't need that. Don't need anything else. We are ready to go here. Down to the Final Four. Been in the Final Four for a second. This is up against the Cats player with a backline Medusa, potentially looking to scam. And then we have not played up against that Slay player, like, at all. So we'll see how they are able to do. They moved Medusa to the front and they get the scam, which is unfortunate. But if this can land on the Corgi, it could still be good. Not quite going to happen, though. So it's going to be up to Gretel. I think this is going to be another loss. We lost to this player a few turns ago. And I think we're about to lose to them again. Yep. We take 10 down to 10. But we are scaling more than anybody else, for sure, for sure. And Fire Rune on my doubled up Good Boy, I think could make this comp go crazy. So let's start with that. Okay, now we are up against the Slay player. Does this have flying? It does. But whatever. Yeah, it does, but who cares? I don't think we lose to this player. If I think we're going to lose, I could just... Yeah, okay, let's just do this. Let's get through one more combat, and then I will lock onto yet another Good Boy. That'll allow me to make my entire frontline Good Boys. Oh, Corgi's got to get cut? Oh, that's awkward. So it's got walk 3, which means it can't be in any of these backline slots. All right, well, then I'm glad I grabbed the spell and hung on to Elaine for a second here. I'll throw Elaine in the ranged spot. Don't actually love Dr. Watson at this point. Maybe I cut Watson and move to this. Yeah, I mean, I really don't need to scale my attack. I was just using it for the +3/+2 boost on Good Boy, but I think there's better things to be played at this point. So let's cut the Doctor, put the Corgi in the hand. We'll play it again next turn, along with a 3rd or 4th Good Boy, depending on how you want to look at that. And we'll see if we've got enough to dodge the Slay here. Oh, we actually take out the Tengu. It doesn't die, though. A bunch of pre-fight stuff happens. Oh! Wait, did everybody else know that this is what this card did? I was reading the wrong thing. I thought that I was making a copy of Good Boy. I mean, I'm sure everyone has noticed it at this point, but that is not the card that I thought it was. Okay. Awkward. So all of these cards are upgraded because I've got a bonus phase. So I actually really don't want to triple anything. That's interesting. Playing a ranged character might still be worthwhile. But I don't think this is any good. I think I maybe take Circe's Cup for the final fight. Or what is potentially the final fight. I'm hoping it's the final fight because I've got the Corgi in the final position here to soak up all of these stats. And they've got their scam in the front line. They scammed me pretty well last time we faced off. And they might not be as lucky this time. Alright, let's give it a shot. I might... Nah, Starlight Strike is not that powerful considering it might not... It might just, like, hit a cat. And that's not super interesting. But yeah, this is not what I thought it did here. So that's silly. We kind of need Good Boy to land on Good Boy. Or some other combinations of things, like... But I think it's probably fine. Okay, their attack was the worst that it could have been, and then my good boy landed on both my good boys. So I think that's a win and a first place finish here to round out the game. My Corgi should just be unimaginable numbers. I think we also hit a really nice Cersei's Cup there. So yeah, that worked out pretty fantastically. The spider in their backline is going to trade 1-for-1 with something eventually, but they won't be able to take out the rest of these pups. And there is a nice little victory for me there. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm No Lex Given. Peace.